And I want to go back
Okay.
to your childhood and you picking up drums for the first time. When did that happen?
Well, I went to the school. It was where you had to, in your spare time, do either do a bit of like army training, or you could do the army band. And I met this guy when you had to sign up for what you were going to do, and I didn't want to do the army training at all. And he said the best way, if you want to skive and get out of it, is to join the band. It's a real laugh. So I joined up, and it was a pipe band. So we all got dressed up with kilts, and I learned to play the side drum, and we had a great time because we just did parades for people, while the rest of the guys sort of had these regular army soldiers sort of shout at them all day long. So so whoever that guy was an angel, because that sort of got me started in drums.
That sounds like you would have been older then. You wouldn't have been a kid at that time.
Well, no, I was 13, and it was kind of like you did sort of pretend army
Oh, I
training.
got you. Okay.
And yeah, so it was like cadets, army cadets or something like that. Yeah.
And then how long after that did you join Snow Patrol? Because I know you played in a few bands before that.
Yeah, well, I joined at 26, and I was putting on gigs in Belfast at the time, which were kind of you pay £5 and you bring your own booze, and they did really well. And I used to put on local bands and brought a few over from England, and I think I used to play drums in a few bands at the time, 3 bands at the time as well. So I think Gary liked the fact that somebody was maybe organised, and he needed that, someone who could drive and put things together, because that's what he lacked. So that's why he asked me to join.
And what attracted you to Gary and the idea of Snow Patrol?
Well, I bought a tape off him. He was selling tapes for £2. The band was called Shrug at the time, and I bought a tape for £2, and he said, "I'm really sorry, I've got no money. I'm down for a pint. I can't buy you one." And he ran off and bought a pint, and I said, and I came back and I said to him, you remind me of like Grant Leaf Buffalo. Do you like them? And Jeff Buckley, and he's like, "Wow, yeah, I love those," and Dinosaur Jr. and all these bands that we were talking about, and so then I kind of then he asked me. He phoned me up one day and said, "We've got a record deal. We need a drummer, but you join the band. And you've got to move to Dundee." And I was living in Belfast, so it was quite a big decision to make. But I had the tape of the 3 songs, and his voice was just really amazing. And at the time, he was a really shy performer. He couldn't look at the crowd. He had his hair covered his eyes, and he just went red all the time and looked down. So he's changed somewhat these days, leaping about the stage as he does, and he's become a great frontman. But he was very, very embarrassed to actually get up on stage. But I just noticed there was something very, very special about his voice, and thought his lyrics were really good for somebody who his first band.
Did you?
I just sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. I just saw a really rough diamond, as it were. I thought, this is he's got loads of potential to be he could do this for a career.
You mentioned he was a little scared on stage, and now you get to hide behind the kit, mind you. But did you ever have the fear of being on stage?
Live Aid.
Yeah.
Playing Live Aid was the only time. I think lots of journalists saying there's 1 billion people watching this. I think that I don't really get nerves a lot, but I've been playing quite for a long time, so I don't really get the nerves. But the Live Aid was absolutely shitting it.
That's funny.
It's one of those moments in history, and you thought, well, I don't want to be the one that fucks it up. Although we kind of did. Gary took up the lyrics, and one of the guitars wasn't working and stuff, so we did in the end.
Not about fucking stuff up, really, but I remember you told me a story, and I still wish I had it on tape, so why I'd like you to tell it again for me, about chocolate, and then you guys revisiting, and then Doves Pounding being like, "Oh, we just kind of copied that."
Yeah, well, we sort of demoed that, and their song came out, and we were like, "Oh bollocks! Everyone's going to think we're nicking the same drum riff or drum part." It was just one of those really unfortunate things that you don't really get a voice to say.
Yeah.
It just gets compared to it, and you go, "Well, I promise you, we did it." Or anyway, that's just it's unfortunate. It's like we had Tom used to DJ in our band, and then Ash got a DJ, and I thought, well, everyone's going to think that we copy them. But what can you do? We're both in the same lines.
Right. One of the cool things about being in a band at your stature, I guess, is that you can kind of do what you want, especially with your kit and how bands write things on their kit. And I heard you did something really cool for your wife on your kit.
I did, yeah. I was just trying to think of like a way of doing it to surprise her, but I wanted to do it really subtly, and I didn't want everybody else to know. But I just made sure that my mum and friends were getting her to look at the screens at this it's like a really subliminal, almost really quick flash. So I got everything set up, the cameras, and I said, "Marry me, Marianne" on my drums written up, and the camera would pan over it really quickly, and she would see it, and nobody else kind of caught it because it was kind of quite fast, and so I had to make sure she was looking at that. So it all worked out. She was looking at the right spot. And so although what happened was unfortunately I was opening a bottle of beer, and it was the bottle opener was broken, and I cut my hand just before we went on, so there was blood all over it as well. So it was kind of a little like Marilyn Manson sort of proposal.
And then what? She had to wait until you got off stage, because I'm assuming this happened in the middle of the set at some point.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was the very last song.
Oh, okay, all right. So
yeah.
She didn't have to wait an hour to give you a hug afterwards or anything.
No, for me to find out.
Yeah, I had to wait for the answer. Yeah. Let's move on to this new disc, because it's the first one recorded in the United States, and it took a long time to record, from what I hear.
Yeah, Gary had writer's block for the first time, which scared us all because we didn't know whether he would ever get it back, the mojo, and because he just, one of these people who, I've had my phone recording him, write about 12, 14 songs in an afternoon. So it was a real shock, and I think it's just subliminal pressure that we realized, we have record labels saying that, well, there's a good time to release the album, and we need 4 months lead up time, and we have all our crew that are going, well, if we need to get some works in, we've been offered other tours, and so there was a certain amount of pressure to have it out and recorded by a deadline, and I think having that, we felt like we were having to force it a bit, so we just had to delay that and say, listen, we'll not put any time constraints on it, and we'll take the rest of the band. We went out and recorded in a little studio, Joshua Tree, and demoed up a lot of stuff, and let Gary kind of just have some time out, and if it happens, it happened, and just get one song lyrically together, and that's what happened eventually. So that was about 3 or 4 months of nothing happening really, and then Gary got one song together, and then the rest flowed from that.
What's the song that you guys wrote without him?
The way it works is Gary would often put down a lot of ideas on GarageBand, and then we would go in and we would arrange it a bit and put in parts and speed it up and chop it up and edit it and stuff. So we had lots of ideas kicking about. So we just kind of I think about half of the songs maybe in the album we would have had a fair amount of structure to before we went in the studio.
Is that how you guys always work?
And then the rest of them, yeah, that's how it kind of works. And then some of them just, we realize when we try to record that it's not working out, and just go down a different route. Sometimes take a chorus from another song, or add a verse from another song, and sort of Frankenstein it a bit.
Speaking of Frankensteining stuff, one of the things I love about drums, and I play drums a little bit too, is some of the cool sounds you can do from other instruments. Like I heard, I don't even think it was Ringo, I think it was his son on an Oasis record, put like a Cheerios box on the snare to just give it a crazy sound. Do you ever do that, any of that kind of stuff? Yeah,
a lot. Like duvets are quite good for hitting. For miking up a duvet, and just you get this kind of mad sound of it. And yeah, I bought pizza boxes were really good as well. and you can get a really good sound out of that. And I bought a load of percussion this time because I was just watching the drum circle in Venice Beach, and it was just giving me. I thought I'm just going to buy loads of drums and try and build it. There was this one moment that they got. I thought it sounded great, and Fallen Empires kind of came around from that because there's a cacophony of percussion. It was really tribal. So I went to the shop and bought tons of like odd African drums. So that was kind of fun to layer that. And then we do that live. And we got 3 drummers on stage live doing that. So it's quite people are enjoying that one. But yeah, you can. I mean, with with a good mic and some decent equipment, you can make a really good drum sound out of anything, really.
Yeah, true. The songs, you've been playing them live a few months now. So which songs are the most fun from the new records? Which songs have evolved? Are there any that just didn't work out for the tour from the new record?
No, it took us a while because there's so many layers to work out how to do it. And it was a bit of a puzzle, and a lot of times I think that it's important that we try and just get the main hooks and the essence rather than trying to make it too busy, because people fill in the blanks sometimes as well. You don't have to do it all, and it doesn't really work. So, like the Fallen Empires, one I just said there, that's really good. People are loving that. It's a bit different. And Garden Rules is a really good, fun song to play. It's our kind of Van Morrison moment.
Yeah, right.
And This Isn't Everything You Are. It's really, I just love the way vocally it soars. And that's been, it's really powerful when it kicks in the chorus, that one. I'm trying to think. I'll Never Let Go was good. We had Lissy, who sang in the record. She came over to the London O2 when we did 3 shows there, and that was amazing. She's a great singer, like really incredible.
I remember
we had her singing, which was.
Yeah, I remember I interviewed her a few days after she got out of the studio with you guys, and she was just raving about how much fun it was.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's all I got.
She's I saw her footage there of Coachella. She's brilliant. So, and just live to hear a voice like that. I mean, she has no fear at all, and just get gusto like I've never seen. So that was been great. I think we're going to get her to sing in LA as well when we're there. So.
Oh, nice. Speaking of singing, I hear Gary's not drinking on tour anymore. Has it made his voice better?
Yeah, well, he hasn't been for a long time able to drink on tour. It drives his voice up, which does a lot. Some singers they can get away with it and it sounds better, but with him, he's very sensitive to it, so he doesn't. No, he can't. It has been like that for a long time.
And what about you?
He makes up for it when he gets off.
Do you play better a little under or a little over?
No, I can't. Unfortunately, I can't. I'm allowed to have 1 beer. I think that's my limit, or maybe 1 whiskey. That's what we do now. Sometimes we'll have a little whiskey before we're going, but no, I've done that before. I've made that mistake, and it's not good. I mean, I think I'm playing a good gig, but if I hear it back, it's different than I thought it was. That's for sure.
Yeah. How come Jackknife never comes out on the road with you guys? I mean, he's playing on all the records. He's working on all the records.
Yeah, well, he's just busy, he's been working with Two Door Cinema Club. Yes, he's been with he's Silver Sun Pickups. He did their record, and he had like about 3 records on the go at once there. So, he wouldn't really have the time to do it. But we have enough musicians on stage now anyway. So
yeah, fair enough. All right, just curious. I know you're busy, so I'm going to let you go. But we got to do something called 5 questions. 5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
Okay.
Road or studio?
Okay. Road.
Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
When you hear a song, what hits you first? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm?
Melody.
Song you've written you're most proud of?
Open Your Eyes.
Cool. And in 1 word, Snow Patrol.
Majestic.